He is a legend, a UFC Hall of Famer, Ultimate Fighter cast member from season 1, and now a bare-knuckle fighter. He's making his debut in BKFC February against Austin Trout. It is always my pleasure to speak to the legend himself, Diego Sanchez. Diego, what's going on?
Oh man, nothing but positivity and good energy. Spent all last year training boxing to fight Dan Hardy. The show fell through the first time they rescheduled, and then it actually fell through in total. And so, I just trained all year, and the boxing promotion was cool. They paid me to do the camp, so I got paid to do the camp and just got to train all year. Now we got the BKFC fight. It's about damn time.
I love it.
Waiting 2 years for this.
Let me just say ahead of time, Diego, I'm digging the beard, man. I like the beard on you, Diego.
Yeah, man, it's time to go beast mode, man. And it ain't about being a pretty boy right now. I'm like the Tim McGraw song. I'm on my next 40 years, man, doing the right shit. And that includes growing this hair out because, you better be appreciative of what you got. I got a full head of hair and it's not great. So I'm 41 years old. I better be grateful and grow that shit out.
I love it. Diego, I got a lot I want to talk to you about. I do want to talk about the boxing thing, but let me start with the bare-knuckle thing because
my brother Stefan Bonnar, we got to talk about my bro. I lost my bro on Christmas Eve. I got the call. It was terrible, and we're still mourning his loss. Still praying for his family, and he had an autistic son, little Griffin. And Andrea, his wife, so prayers go out to that family. They have a GoFundMe page already up. And so if you get a chance, go to Stefan Bonnar's Instagram and click on the link. Send some love to little Griffin and his mourning widow, Andrea Bonnar.
Yeah, you brought it up, Diego. Let's just go ahead and talk about it because, I know how much Stefan – that bond that you guys had from that season. I told the story on Twitter after his passing. I remember I had Stefan on my podcast one time, and he told me the story about when he got pulled out of the house because he had a staph infection. When he came back, he jumped out a window and went and bought a bottle of Mad Dog, and it was one of the funniest stories ever. And that was Stefan Bonnar to me. Like, Stefan was a great storyteller. He was hilarious, and he seemed like a guy that everybody loved.
Yeah, he was a big brother, man. He was definitely a big brother. He's a very intelligent, wise man. A lot of people have their struggles, and he had his struggles. And it's so sad for me to see him go because at the end of his road, man, he was really getting his stuff together. He was pulling his life back together, man. He was putting the structure where he needed it. He was starting to get some help from some people, after his incident in the ER. And so, things just took a real turn from him, man. And the last message I sent him was like, Stefan, man, I'm so proud of you. I see everything you're doing. You got the new insurance job and you're doing the podcast. I said, please let me come on and, let me support you. And that was the last message I sent him. Unfortunately, he's hopefully in a better place. It was a tragic loss for the MMA community. And just to see someone go that young, And another one of these rare, weird heart injuries, heart problems,
Yeah, it's one of, and that's the thing. Like, I never, everyone that talked about, like, Stefan was a guy that just seemed like everyone loved him. Like, he didn't have any enemies. He just seemed like a guy that everyone just loved being around him. Anytime I talked to him, he was a good guy. It's just, again, it's tragic. It's just a tragic situation.
Yeah, rest in peace, big guy. Your big giant up in heaven. Sanchez is down here, and I'm going to dedicate this next victory for you. And let's go.
I love it. I love it.
Into the next topic.
Absolutely. Diego, let me ask you about the bare-knuckle thing because we've heard rumors about this for a while, and then you mentioned, of course, we saw the boxing match with Dan Hardy that was booked. What got you interested in bare-knuckle? And let me say this to you because you've done so much in your career. You've been a legend. You've done so many things. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do at this point, right? Like, you could just, walk away and say, hey, I'm just going to chill out and, be a family man, and no one would question it. You've done and accomplished everything you could want to accomplish. So what was it about this that made you interested?
Well, first and foremost, it's new and it's different. I like new. I like different. it's combat sports still. So it actually adds a level of value to my legacy because, it goes to show that I wasn't just the MMA. And it's hard for me, the criticism that I've got throughout the 17 years of a Hall of Fame UFC career, to get the criticism that I can't stand up, that I can't strike. When I knocked out Joe Riggs, I had great fights with Joe Stevenson. I stood up with Nate Diaz. I went with BJ Penn. I slung their hands with the best of them. So I don't know why people still credit me to not being a technical fighter. Maybe because in the beginning of my career, I was a bull. I didn't know how to counter fight. I didn't know how to measure the distance. I didn't know how to use my vision to see shots coming at me. But along the learning curve of taking some knees and some punches to the face, I learned in the end. And that's why I was one of the rare few fighters that went out on my shield. You know what I mean? I went out on my shield on UFC. You see a lot of these guys, legends of the sport like Chuck and Frankie Edgar, and most of these guys are they're going out on stretchers. If they're not going out on stretchers, they're going out with brain damage and knockout losses and just a loss of confidence, while stepping out of the UFC limelight. And I didn't want to do that, and I planned my exit strategy in 2019. I went out and actually Dave Feldman flew me out to Philadelphia. We had dinner, and we've been strategizing and planning this BKFC event for a long time. I told him, I said, Dave, Albuquerque is a bare-knuckle city. It's not a UFC city. The people out here, they love boxing and they love street fighting. And so you take the gloves off and you let us fight in the clinch. This is our shit. We've been doing this since we were in middle school. And so for me to just see that, and then with the strengths that I have with the state championship wrestling background, the experience of fighting with open hand fingers my entire career, and just being able to be strong in the clinch. I know that space. I know that area. And it's actually where I'm better. And so you've seen a lot of my best punch in my MMA career was the uppercut, the right uppercut, my lead right uppercut. And I did a lot of damage to Guida. I did a lot of damage to Carl Parisian. I fought a lot of guys with that punch, and I had a lot of success with that punch. And so in bare-knuckle, it's even better because you don't have that huge ass octagon where the guys could run from you so much. As you know, some of the guys were faster than me, and I had to play the chase the rabbit game a lot in UFC. And now we're here in bare-knuckle where you get docked if you don't throw down. You get docked points. And then on top of that, you toe the line. You start 3 feet away from each other, 1 meter away. And I get a rush this Vato. And so it's not like he can play defense. Austin Trout's going to try to play Philly shell defense on knuckles. Dude, you'll catch a knuckle. You catch one of these big ass knuckles to your shoulder, and I hit the nerve cluster on your arm, and then you can't even throw another jab. So that's the type of dynamics and interpretation and understanding that I have for this sport in the research and development that I put into wanting to do this. You got to understand what you're doing when you go in there. And I feel that I have the better understanding. I feel that Austin Trout has a delusional confidence going into this fight because he thinks he's just going to take the gloves off and box. But you can't do that. The circumference area of the fist is half the size of a glove pad. And then you add fingers. It's different. It's just different. And I'm going to go in there and prove why I'm a great, intelligent mind of combat sports. On February 17th, I'm going to put all the sacrifice and dedication in this next month to get down to 165, just like I did for my last fight in March of 2002 with Kevin Lee, where I took the fight on 5 weeks' notice, made the 165, and went out there and put a hell of a fight against Kevin Lee, where some people argue that I did more damage. And because it was Eagle FC and not UFC, the rule setting is they give more points for takedowns in Eagle FC because, come on, common sense. Habib runs the game,
Yeah. It's funny you say that, Diego, talking about your striking. I talked to your teammate, a guy you've known for a lot of years, John Dodson, who's also sharing the card with you. on February 17th. And I said, how do you think Diego's going to do in Bare-Knuckle? Because, we know you as a mixed martial artist. And he said, you know what? Diego's built for Bare-Knuckle. He's like, this is what you don't understand about Diego. He's like, Diego's built for Bare-Knuckle. He's like, his clinch work, his punching, the way he does, and he talked technically about the way you fight. He's like, actually, like for anyone that's questioning this going from MMA to Bare-Knuckle, he's like, Diego was built for this. Do you think a lot of people are going to be surprised by your performance on February 17th, where there's going to be a curiosity, like, how does Diego do? Do you think there's going to be a lot of people shocked at how well you do?
Absolutely, and that's why I brought this fight up to David, because I want to help. I want to help anybody that wants to help me. That's how I live my life. And Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship and Dave Feldman, they want to help Diego Sanchez. They want to help me. They want to give me avenues to make money outside of fighting. They want to just really, truly help me. So I want to truly help them and help their industry. And so with that, I knew that fighting Austin Trout is going to pull the boxing fans and the UFC fans and the Bare-Knuckle fans, and we're going to hit a wider spectrum of fan base. And so that's why I did this, man. I had the Perry fight on the line. I was asking for the Nate Diaz fight. That's the real Bare-Knuckle fight that I want, is Nate Diaz. I'm pretty sure he's under his contract with UFC for probably the rest of his life, so it'll probably never happen. But let me throw that out there to the fans, and let the fans know that Diego Sanchez ain't afraid, man. That Lord has not given me the spirit of fear, but the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. And I want that fight. I want Nate Diaz. I want a money fight. I want a fight that's going to bring fans. I want to end my career with these big legendary fights. And what better to start than a world champion boxer in Austin Trout? And so, at 165, I'm going to be the bigger man. He fought his last fight at 154 pounds about 6 weeks ago. So he's a relatively smaller man. And when I get in the square circle with him, let me correct myself. Yeah, you're going to see a size difference, and this ain't boxing, so he's not going to be able to just stand in front of me and throw the jab. I'm going to be coming in with shots. I'm going to be coming in with power shots, and either he's going to be forced to try to block those shots, or he's going to be face down on the canvas.
And I gotta imagine, Diego, knowing you as well as I do and going back as long as we do, you don't shy away from challenges. And I'm sure day one, BKFC could have given you just some guy to go in there and beat and say, here, we got Diego Sanchez. We got a legend here. Austin Trout's a world champion boxer. This is not like you're just getting some guy, you're not fighting just somebody. This is a legit fight. Austin Trout, win over Miguel Cotto. This guy's legit. So this is not just a walkover for you. This is a tough fight. And I know that's what you've always sought out your entire career.
This is a good challenge. And like I said before, Austin has to make his adjustments. I have to make my adjustments. We're true warriors coming into this octagon, into this fighting space, Bare-Knuckle Fighting Championship. And he's gonna do what he's got to do. I'm gonna do what I got to do. We're gonna see who's the better man, the better warrior, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun night for Albuquerque. It's gonna be a fun night for Bare-Knuckle, Knuckle Mania. And I'm thrilled. I'm training hard. I'm working hard. I'm working with Josh Pitbull Torres, a professional boxer out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we're putting our energy together. We're working hard. He's working hard, and we're just trying to bring these victories together. Bring all the synergy of the energy, positivity, and good vibes in the gym. Motivating each other.
You did send chills down my spine a little bit, Diego, mentioning the Nick Diaz thing. When you said that immediately, like, ooh, Nick Diaz and Diego Sanchez and Bare-Knuckle. Now that is a fight. That is listen, I agree with the contract situation. Maybe it would never happen, but boy, would I love to see it.
Oh yeah, me too. And that's a fight for the fans. Yo, Nick Diaz, all respect for you, Nick Diaz, but I already whooped your ass in jiu-jitsu. I whooped your ass in wrestling. I whooped your ass in the UFC octagon. And you say you're the Stockton gangster? Well, then take off the gloves, because gangsters don't wear gloves, homie. We fight with what God gave us, just these bare fists. And so you want to come test and see who the real gangsters. Come to Burke, come and step in the octagon with Diego Sanchez, and we'll both make some money, walk out with some bags, and do our thing.
Would you entertain a fight with Nate, his brother, who's actually he is a free agent right now? Would you entertain that?
Nate will never fight me. Nate only wants the Mayweather fight. Nate only wants Jake Paul. Nate only wants those 2 fights, or he only wants 3 fights: Conor McGregor, Jake Paul, or Floyd Mayweather. He don't want another nightmare. You know, I already beat his bigger brother. You know, that's his idol. Nick Diaz is Nate Diaz's idol, and the GOAT to many of the Nick Diaz Army family. And I'm the guy that beat that guy. You know, he was the Strikeforce world champion. I beat him. You know what I mean? I beat him clean. I beat him decisively. And we were all in our prime. We were all in our youth. Now we're not in our youth. But who's kept the youth better? Who's kept the health better? Who's kept the mind better? And I know that's me. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Nick or Nate were never, ever, ever to step up to the challenge of Diego Sanchez ever again. And so, but hey, man, they got a great fan base. And as a warrior, I challenge them both. And I said, hey, Diaz Army, let's go. Come on. Diego's out here in New Mexico grinding, putting in this work. And after I finish Austin Trout in the first round, you're gonna see the call outs happen. You know what I mean? And you're gonna see the revival of Diego Sanchez in my career, even though that I know that I'm at the end of my career. You know what I mean? I know that I'm only gonna fight so many more fights. But that doesn't mean that I'm washed up. That doesn't mean that I'm out of shape. That doesn't mean that I'm unprepared. That doesn't mean that I'm not mentally fit or sound for battle to dominate. And that's what I'm gonna do on February 17th. Get in there and dominate with the pressure, with the pace, and fight for my people of Albuquerque, fight for my family, and bring home another W.
Absolutely. Diego, before I get you out of here, can I ask you, mentioned, of course, you had the boxing match it was going to have with Dan Hardy. I think that would have been a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it didn't come together. You got this Bare-Knuckle thing going on now, and I think there's a lot of opportunity in Bare-Knuckle. You mentioned, I mean, there's been big fights. We've seen really big fights happen in Bare-Knuckle. But what does the future hold for you, Diego? Like, are you still interested in boxing? Are you going to focus on Bare-Knuckle? Is there a chance you do MMA again? Like, where does the future hold for you?
Absolutely. You know, I am absolutely open for boxing. And that's another reason why I'm stepping into the bare-knuckle boxing, you know, because if I show my hands with no gloves, at least it shows that I do have these hands. And it puts me on a level of respect from the boxers. And, you know, I'm open to fighting for Triad. You know, I'm open to fighting for BKFC. I'm open to fighting mixed martial arts, too. We'll see. You know, we'll see what's next. I'm still in the contract with Eagle FC, but I have not got any word back from Ali or Khabib because from what I heard in the media was that Khabib was done with MMA for a while and that he was dropping out of Islam's corner and he was going to do some family stuff. But I don't know if he's going to put an end to Eagle FC. So I'm still waiting to hear on that. So there could be 2 more fights in mixed martial arts for me. But right now, I'm pretty happy doing the BKFC. And as long as I can get the right opponent that have the right draw, Dave is willing to take really good care of me and work together. I guess it's more of just a business agreement where, you know, Dave knows that if I fight the right guy, it's going to be me for him and he's going to pay me justly. You know, if I fight some little chump, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know, I'm not going to get paid the same amount for fighting some nobody. And that's exactly what Austin Trout's been doing for the past 5 fights. I know promoters that have talked to me and made calls, and that he only picks his own opponents. His own opponents are handpicked. Well, I think that I picked him this time, and to the grapevine, he got the word. You know, whatever. Diego's on the outs. You know what I mean? Diego ain't training like he used to. I'll take this fight with Diego at 165, and so he's confident. And I honestly don't think he's done his research on the bare-knuckle fighting championship, and I don't think he's really understands that you can't fight the same way that you do boxing in bare-knuckle fighting championship. So, like I said, we'll see what adjustments he makes. But my game plan is my game plan. It does not change. I'm going to get in his face, and I'm going to put pressure on him, and I'm going to attack him, and I'm going to maul him. I'm going to maul his ass. And so I see him this Wednesday at the press conference. I'm trying to keep everything respectful between me and Trout because we are, you know, we have respect and honor and integrity for each other. I couldn't do it without him. He couldn't do it without me. We're both getting to feed our families, both getting to take care of ourselves. But at the same time, like, I know the level of danger. Like, he's been doing boxing all his life. All he really knows is boxing. I'm a martial artist that did kickboxing, that did Muay Thai, that did wrestling, that I'm pro. I'm 1-0 pro as a boxer. I did boxing. I've been doing all of this for so long that I feel that I have a better understanding for the open hand fight game. And I'm just going to go in there and take care of business. I'm extremely confident that this is going to be a first round TKO.
I love it. Diego, it seems like you're in a really good place right now. And I mean that as a compliment. It seems like you're in a great place right now going into this fight. And, we all love to watch you go out there and do your thing. But more importantly, it just seems like you're ready. You're ready to go. And I love that. I love that, Diego Sanchez. I love that fire from Diego Sanchez.
Hey, thank you, man. Just a shout out to all my fans out there and all the supporters. Everybody knows that the past 3 years were hard for me. I went through what was a trial and a tribulation, of soul, spirit, and mind. And I came out on the other side, man. I came out on the other side stronger, better, tougher, and more grateful for everything that I have, more grateful for the good people in my life. And I just have a better understanding of my circle and who I let into it. And so, I'm living simple. I'm living pure for my family and for God. My faith, my faith has always been up and down, but in this final episode of what went down with Joshua Fabia on spiritual access and dimensions, man, I was saved by the Lord, Savior Jesus Christ. And I know my purpose now, and I'm not fighting my purpose anymore. And I'm living for it, and that's why I look good and I feel good, and I'm excited for this fight, and just excited to be able to train, because this is the life that I've known for the past 20 years. This is the most happiest that I've ever been, is when I'm training. It's the in between the fights that I was always, a little up and down with the anxiety, flirting with alcoholism, because I wasn't in the gym. And now that I'm 40, it's like the Tim McGraw song. I'm on the next 40 years, man. I'm about love, family, time, energy, and just making the most of my life these next 40 years. Because I already did so much excitement, and I already did everything extreme that I could do extreme.
Absolutely. Well, Diego, sounds great. You look great. I can't wait for February 17th. It is always an honor to speak with you. I really do appreciate the time. Can't wait to see you mix it up in the bare-knuckle ring. And thank you again for doing this. I really do appreciate it.
One last thing for my fans out there. Please go on my Instagram, buy your tickets, and also buy the BKFC app through me. This company is great. It works with the fighters. They let us hustle. They let us work on the side. And that's something that I never had in UFC. And it's really, really cool. So if you're a fan of mine and you support my career, go on the Instagram. Buy your tickets from me. Hit me up in the DM if you need a table. Hit me up. I'll take care of you. Let's get it done. And I love you guys. Abundance. Yeah.
Thank you, Diego. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right, my man. Thanks for the interview. God bless.